screen behind me is supposed to be telling us, but I don't think we know yet. Okay, the name of the album is Steel Wheels, which is why we've been dragged here today, I think. There are a lot of people with headphones and walkie-talkies looking excited. Okay, they're off the train now. Photographers are holding them up. They're posing for photos. This is 27 years in the business for the Rolling Stones. Which makes them even longer lived than the Who. Yeah. 20 years ago today, the whole Rolling Stones had one of their greatest hits, Honky Tonk Women. 27 years ago tomorrow, they played their first date ever as the Rolling Stones with Mick Avery from the Kinks on drums, Dick Taylor, later of the Pretty Things, on bass. And now they're still with us. We're waiting to see if Bill Wyman's bringing his wife with him, I think. How you doing? It's been a long time since we've been tortured like this by the Stones. Isn't it great to have them back? Okay, for everybody at home, we're going to go real quickly to a video, but we may come back in the middle of it. It's one of their biggest hits from 1974. It's Time Is On My Side. There they are. There they are. Okay, the Rolling Stones are pulling in track 24. I thought it was 42. It's track 24 at Grand Central Station in New York City, slowly easing into their berth here. I'm not sure I'd know this if I didn't already know it by looking at this, but the train is going to deposit them on the platform. They'll be inundated by press, no doubt.
Speaking to the mic.
And in moments, they'll be here. Can everybody see that up there? They may be a little winded. Apparently, they just flew in from London last night. Okay, they're pulling in. They're going to be up here in moments, and they're going to be taking questions from the press. I hope you have one or two. I know I do. After this, they're going to be, I don't know how long they're going to be here. After this, they're going to be taking off to start rehearsals for their tour, which does start on September 1st in Buffalo. Okay, is the train back up here? There's the train. Hired at great cost, no doubt. Yeah. Some New York cops. Okay. Okay, this is all going very slowly. The Stones have done this for years, as you probably know. Big press conferences to announce tours and albums. Last time around, I believe they played on a flatbed truck here in New York. They won't be playing here today, but they will be with us soon, we hope. Do we see them? No, we don't see them yet. But there's the banner, Steel Wheels logo. The Steel Wheels referring apparently to scratch DJ turntables as opposed to, and here comes somebody. They're going in to get the Rolling Stones off. And here we have Charlie Watts, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Ronnie Wood, Bill Wyman, and their entourage. Posing for photos now. Just think in moments they'll be here with us. They look pretty good. Keith and Ronnie look really happy. All right, I guess a few photos, then they'll be in here with us. The album is apparently just about done. I think they got most of it mixed. They're still working on it a little bit here in New York, I understand. Here they come. Over here to our left somewhere, we'll see them straggling in. All right. Any minute, any minute, any minute. The door is open. I think we hear their little footsteps. We see a lot of flashbulbs. Somebody is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Bill Wyman, Charlie Watts, Ron Wood, Rolling Stone.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, Bill? Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. We know it's hotter than hell in here. Is it? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm sorry we kept you a little bit waiting. We won't be here forever, so we just do it very quickly. We're very pleased to announce that we're doing a big tour this year, which starts in September the 1st in Buffalo and goes on, and I think you've got all that in little bits of paper. Yes? And we've got a new album which comes out the last week in August, I think, or maybe the first week in September. Yeah. And that's called Steel Wheels, and the first single's called Mixed Emotions. I know you're dying to ask questions like, will this be the last tour you ever do? That's a good one. Or what's another one? How much money are you going to earn on this tour? That's a good and other things like that. But I won't preempt you completely. But do fire away if you want to ask any questions. I think you should just do it.
Got an extra mic. Very good, Bill.
You like that?
Yeah. Thanks. Mick, I'd like to ask one question. There have a lot of rumors about who's opening up on this tour. Was it going to be Guns N' Roses? Was it going to be In Excess? But now it's going to be only Living Colour, or what's the deal with opening acts?
It's the negotiations.
Negotiations. Are there going to be other opening acts besides Living Colour?
Yeah, a great group called the Negotiations.
We're going to have Aerosmith and Boomtown Rats and Guns N' Roses and that sort of band. You know, that's got a certain something about it.
Living Colour.
No, there will be some other acts in some places, but I will be announcing those later.
Are there any other questions out here? Passing mics now. What is it?
Boy Gary, 92.3 K-Rock from the Howard Stern Show. Mick, with all the hype and all the rumors that we've been hearing about the fighting between you and Keith, the stuff that was on the cover of Musician, how are you guys doing now? What's the truth? What's going on? Everybody's happy?
The answer to that is we both gave up masochism.
We don't have fights, we just have disagreements.
So everybody's happy now?
Sure.
And hot.
Well put. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Jagger, Robin Carter from Fox Television. You had mentioned money yourself, and there has been quite a lot of talk about how much you would make on this tour. Some rock critics have charged that the only reason you're doing it is for the money.
No, that's the Who.
Who said that? Who said that?
True? Not true.
What about love and fame and fortune? Have you forgotten about these important things?
We're doing it for the glory, darling, the glory.
Mark? Okay. Mark?
I got a question for Keith. Mark McEwen from CBS News. The question is, you said you always wanted to see what rock and roll was going to be like as you got older, into your late 40s, early 50s. Well, you're there. What are we going to see that's different on this tour that we haven't seen before?
I could answer that better in December, I think. But at least I'm going to find out, right?
A good bit of live music for a change.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, Brian Hendel from VH1. This is for the whole band. How would you describe the energy level 25 years ago to now? Same?
Ask my wife.
Sorry, what did you say?
Not that kind of.
How would you describe the energy level?
I'm sorry.
How would you describe the energy level today as compared to 25 years ago?
Hello, Mick. Jesse Nash from Hits Magazine. How do you feel after you were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year by Pete Townsend? Do you plan on doing the same for The Who?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, Jesse Nash from Hits Magazine. I said, last year, you were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
We heard you.
We're giving Pete hearing aids when we do that.
What is your feeling about it? You going to do the inductions for the Who this year?
We'd love to give it to him.
Yeah?
No comments?
I think we've done enough for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Hi, Abby Kears from NBC The Source. Back in '81, and this is directed to Mick, they had an article in Life magazine about some of the training physically. You went through all this training. What about this time around? What are you doing to prepare for the tour?
Well, I'm walking around Manhattan at the moment. I don't know. You should do a little bit, but don't think I'll overdo it. You know, I think I've got to take it easy. So I don't think I'll overdo the training. Just a little slow walking and
quick walk
shopping,
across the
maybe.
Himalayas. Scott, come on, what you got?
Go ahead. You have a mic or what?
We're negotiating.
I got one.
Stand up.
Is this your last tour? Is this finally your last tour?
No.
Oh, yes! Thank you!
It had to come.
Brilliant. Who was it? Thank you so much. That's a wonderful
You
question.
tell us.
First asked in 1966. No.
Mick, is there any significance in you announcing the dates of this tour just before the anniversary of you starting the band in 1962, which occurs tomorrow when you did a gig at the Marquee Club? Is there any significance to that? Are you listening?
Yes. I wish there was,
very good
but
point.
we didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Wonderful historical.
I lost my diary.
This tour is not a historical tour as such. It's more of a 1989 tour. You know, I mean, I don't see it as a sort of retrospective or a farewell or anything like that. I see it as the Rolling Stones in 1989.
I'm Celeste Ford with WABC TV. You said we were dying to ask you this, and you're right. Why wait? Why now get together for this album, for this tour?
Why not?
Can you elaborate?
I can get very elaborate, but when you got the guys together, then you take it. You know, I mean, these guys. If I can find these four, same as me. If I can get them all together, I'll do it.
Scott?
Scott Muni, NEWFM. Hi, guys.
Hi, Scott.
Welcome.
Hi, Scott.
This is the first of the extended tours, as you've said, many more. Are you going to have supporting cast, people like Bobby Keys and that? Are you going to invite other people to go on tour with you? You're going to have a whole cast of characters?
You want a towel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Primitive cool.
We're working on the guys, the rest of the guys that'll be with us, but there will be other guys with us, yeah, a few.
We got Matt Clifford
All right, great.
and Chuck Lavelle.
Chris Shepard from CFNY in Toronto. Can you briefly describe the theme and the sound of the new album that we're going to expect? Steel Wheels. Let's hear the new stuff, boys.
Oh, we got the news. You know how to work?
This is what you call a sample. A free sample.
Nice, isn't it? Got a nice beat to it.
I like that.
I got a question for you.
Thank you.
Mick,
I got a
what
question.
about your Sue Fleming, Australian Consolidated Press? What about your fans down under? Mick, we're going to see you in Australia?
Well, yes, last year I was there, but we hope to go all around the world in one day. But who knows, Australia might yet get its turn.
Okay.
Last time we checked in with you, we saw you at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Since then, you've written an album. How did you write the album? How was the writing process done?
It's very hard work.
Very quickly.
And where?
In the islands, Montserrat, Barbados. For the winter, you know, something to do.
Keith, I'll have you take this one. Keith, this one's for you. If you were an 18-year-old rock fan, would you want to go to see a 27-year-old band in a stadium or a young up-and-coming band in a club? If you had to spend your $20 on one or the other.
It's not $20 in a club.
It would depend how good they are, man.
Keith, this is for Keith, Ben Lemur from Circus Magazine. Are there any songs in this album that you're singing lead vocals on?
A couple, two, yeah.
Thank you.
Frank Radis from CNN. Hello, over here.
Yes, down here in the center. Hi there, Frank Radis from CNN. You recorded the album in a whole lot of around the world. Did we get any of those other influences in the music on the album? Why did you do that in all those different places?
Well, it was only we only recorded it in the West Indies, and it was done very quickly. I think
5 weeks.
The thing about the record is it's very compressed. It's done in a very quick time. It's got some rough edges. It's got a lot of different things in it, and we hope you like it. And I think we're all
Mick, over here.
Could you please stop the chanting outside? You're
Randy
really
Alexander from the
microphones
Trenton
up
Times. A couple questions. One, can we expect to hear any of yours and Keith's solo material on this tour? And two, could you compare this tour at all to your 1981 tour?
Better than 1981. More mature, more rocking, more hard, more steel wheels. No solo material.
And better dressed.
What's next?
Hi, Mark the Shark, WMMR Philadelphia. We're going to welcome you to JFK Stadium. The Who just did a whole bunch of Tommy on their tour. Is there anything special that you might be focusing on?
Oh, are we going to do our rock opera?
The new opera.
A new opera. We'll do our new opera.
New opera?
Yes.
Are you better as the Stones as a group as opposed to individually? Do you feel like complete when you're the Rolling Stones?
Do I feel complete? I feel like a sort of... It's a group. Sinker speed. One more question, because my mascara's running.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mick, I have one more question. What does the album title mean? Is the album title refer to hip-hop scratch DJ turntables, or is it trades?
Sorry?
Little easy question.
What was that, Kurt?
What's the title refer to?
The title of the album?
Yeah.
Steel Wheels.
Now boarding Rolling Stones on track 22. All aboard!
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. Sorry it wasn't too hot. Bye. See you there.
Rolling Stones. Here they go. They're not going back on their train. Okay, we're gonna. As the Rolling Stones take off here, I think they're zipping out to 43rd Street here, where a fleet of limos awaits them. We're gonna go to a video. No, we're not gonna go to a video. Let's take a look and see what's going on with them. Here they come. They have just about left the building. There they go. They're leaving the building now. Okay, there's a whole bunch of fans outside. The usual chaos. 27 years on, there's still chaos in the streets of New York. Okay, they're trying to get into their limos. Should we... Okay, the Rolling Stones have left the building. They're on their way out of here. We're going to see them again in Buffalo on September 1st. Right now, we're going to have a little taste of their last tour from 1981. Here's a version of their cover of The Miracles, Going to a Go-Go. Hi, I'm Kurt Loder back here live at Grand Central Station in New York City. The Rolling Stones have left the building, but we do have Mr. Anthony DeCurtis of Rolling Stone, who's a Grammy winner for his notes for the Eric Clapton box set last year. Anthony, you've been watching the Stones for probably as long as I have. What do you make of this? Do you think it's a sort of a main shot for money, or is it really good to have them back?
Well, you know, I think both, probably. I think money certainly is a factor here. But on the other hand, I'm kind of looking forward to this. You know, I think that any sort of rock and roll situation that's got Keith Richards involved in it is liable to be pretty compelling. So I'm hoping for the best.
I think the main bone of contention was Keith wanted Mick to drop the lemon yellow tights. Do you think he's going to change his stage presence?
Well, I'm certainly hoping. I mean, I think that the show would be really great if they could, you know, the things like that Keith did actually identify, like the cherry picker and all this stuff. I think 3 hours of the Stones getting up and doing songs, new songs and stuff that they've done before could be a fairly compelling show. I think there's no question that to a degree they'd begun to parody themselves. If they could just begin to, you know, kind of come at things straightforwardly, I think that it could be a really strong tour.
So you would advise paying the $28.50 for these tickets, right?
Oh, why not?
Okay, let's find out where they are playing. Here's a look once more at the dates for the Rolling Stones Fall Tour of the USA. Okay, that's a look at some of the first dates on the Rolling Stones Fall Tour. They're really playing New York, Los Angeles, lots of other places. Right now, let's take a look at some vintage Stones from the dawn of the 80s, Hang Fire. I'm Kurt Loder with MTV News. If you're just tuning in, we're coming to you live from Grand Central Station in New York City, where the Rolling Stones have just concluded a brief, kind of funny press conference, taken off in their limousines, and left behind people wondering what'll be next. What'll be next will be their tour opening up September 1st in Buffalo. It'll be lasting all year, right up until Christmas. They even played one of their songs on a little boom box. It was cute. And the main thing that was put out here at the press conference was that Mick and Keith are back together again. They seem to be having fun. The whole band looked healthy and rested. And Mick said this will be a better tour than the last one, which started 7 years ago. Here's what he had to say.
Better than 1981. More mature, more rocking, more hard, more steel wheels. No solo material.
And better dressed.
What's next?
From Atlantic City, I'm Adam Curry, and we're just about 30 minutes away from showtime. As the biggest rock and roll event of the year, the Rolling Stones Steel Wheels Concert Tour is heading towards a climax on a pay-per-view cable event, which is called the Rolling Stones Terrifying. So from the comfort of your very own home, you'll be able to see the Rolling Stones perform live on stage at the Atlantic City Convention Center. Now tonight, they'll be joined by special guests Axl Rose and Izzy Stradlin from Guns N' Roses, Eric Clapton, and blues legend, the guitarist, his name is John Lee Hooker. Now, we still have some time, if you haven't done so, to order this event. All you have to do is call your local cable operator. And while you're doing that, we're going to head backstage to Kurt Loder from MTV News, who's hanging out with one of the Stones. Kurt?
Okay, thanks, Adam. I'm here with Ronnie Wood backstage. Showtime is looming upon us real soon. Are you excited, Ronnie?
Yeah, like all the last gigs and going out to millions of people. It's really exciting.
So this is going to be a pretty special night. How did you decide who to pick to come in and join you on this thing? You've got two of the guys from Guns N' Roses. You've got John Lee Hooker. Why John Lee Hooker, for one thing?
Well, there's very few of the good old bluesers left, you know. We've lost Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and Jimmy Reed, and, you know, there's John Lee's one of the original goodies.
How come they're just two guys from Guns N' Roses? They're not having trouble in the band or anything, are they?
Well, as I suppose we're having special guests to play with us, it would be a bit hard to have the whole band on as well, you know. Mind you, we did it with Living Colour the other night. It's only rock and roll we played.
Do you enjoy this playing on television? Does it interfere with what you do on stage? You have guys with cameras running around all the time?
Nah, better not do. No, it's fine.
Okay, we're going to all get changed for the show, but we'll be back in a couple minutes with some more from backstage, and back to you, Adam.
Well, thank you very much, Kurt, and of course we'll be checking in with all 5 members of the band as we get set for the Rolling Stones Terrifying, and you can get set for it as well. All you have to do is call your local cable operator right now to get this pay-per-view cable event. Now, the 1989 Rolling Stones tour has made 36 stops so far, and it's being hailed as a brand new peak in their 27-year career. It's also setting some records as the most mammoth rock and roll show ever put on the road. Just getting this show from city to city requires a whole fleet of semis and a small army of workers and technicians. And here's just how they do it. The Rolling Stones Steel Wheels Tour was the largest and most complex ever mounted. The staging makes as much of an impact as the Stones' music does. It's the culmination of the latest trends in modern concert design, employing computer-driven laser lights, pyrotechnics, video, and sound. Each Stone we spoke to had a different way of looking at it.
It's constructivist, if you really want to put an architectural term on it, which means really it looks like a very large Meccano, but further than that, I don't really want to go.
Maybe will there be cherry pickers and stuff like that? Or
there's no cherry picker, but there's not a tremendous... Well, I'm not saying there's no gimmicks. I mean, it's a very large stage. I mean, I think you've got to give a big stage in a large stadium. I don't think you want to play, you know, on a postage stamp.
It's a bit like the space shuttle launch.
I wouldn't say that.
Crossed with Paris Metro.
Like the side of a half-built factory, I think.
Constructivist, that's great.
Enormous. And it's great to see this enormous thing, and we're all huddled round Charlie. These little ants.
A little club scene in the middle, you know.
Indescribable, Kurt. What can I say? If I try to put it into words, you wouldn't need to come and see it.
That's true, and we need to come to see it.
It's like music that way, you know. If it could be done with words, you wouldn't have it. You know, I can't describe it, man. It's just there and steaming away.
I'm Adam Curry inside the Atlantic City Convention Center, and we're all getting ready for the Rolling Stones Terrifying. Atlantic City, of course, is one of America's most famous resorts, although some of you may only know it as the title of a Bruce Springsteen song. Atlantic City has been the entertainment mecca since the turn of the century, and it also has a pretty interesting recent history as well. Atlantic City is one of the biggest tourist attractions in the United States, bringing 30 million visitors per year. In the 11 years since gambling was voted in by the people of New Jersey, major developers have invested $4 billion in Atlantic City. Now the party capital of the East Coast, it's home to 12 gambling casinos that earn about $3 billion a year. It gives a stage to some of the biggest names in mainstream entertainment. And it's a sportsman's paradise, the scene for legendary boxing bouts by Mike Tyson and other great fighters. Now, you can add terrifying the Rolling Stones to the list of great events taking place at Atlantic City. Now, you may be wondering, have the Rolling Stones ever played Atlantic City before? Well, the answer is yes. That was way back on July 1st, 1966, when the Stones headlined a quadruple bill, including the McCoys, the Standells, and the Tradewinds. Ticket prices were $2 apiece, and the Stones were paid $10,000 for 3 35-minute shows. And right now, Kurt Loder from MTV News is backstage with a couple of the guys who just might remember that gig.
Thanks. I'm backstage now with Bill Wyman and Charlie Watts. Guys, thanks for being here. Are you having a good time so far?
Wonderful. Very good.
Has all this worked out? Has the stage set worked out the way you wanted it to? I mean, is it as easy to negotiate this thing as you thought, or are you winding up running all over the place?
Well, at least it's on his stall and I stand on my spot. I mean, we negotiate it very well, don't we? I've always said when Charlie moves, I move, you know. I'm stand like that.
Is the group getting along? I mean, being on the road this long, doing all these shows is pretty wearing on individuals, I imagine. Is everybody in the band getting along pretty well?
Very well, yeah.
I don't know, ask them. I never see them. Only up there.
So you don't hang out together after the show?
No.
Oh no, don't do that.
Gee, really? I thought you guys would all pal around.
No, that's why it's lasted this long, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you go away and do your own thing, don't you?
Another illusion dashed.
Absolutely.
So this explains the longevity of the group, I suppose, or just...
You're like them early people that used to think we lived in the same house and slept in the same bed and all that, didn't they?
It's not the case at all, right?
Hardly.
Who decided to get John Lee Hooker involved in this show tonight? He's just a common favorite of everybody.
He's got a big record at the moment, and he's one of the last surviving of the older generation of blues singers. And I mean, I've loved John Lee Hooker from the early '60s, and I think everybody else likes him. And he's still out there performing. You know, I've seen many of his shows, small shows over the years, and it's great that he's got a hit record.
Yeah. What did you make of Guns N' Roses when they opened for you out in L.A., or you won over to their kind of music, or not? What did you think, Charlie?
I didn't see them, actually. You
didn't?
You could hear them. Well, you can't see where we are. You know, it's like they're up there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't see them either.
I mean, you know.
Very diplomatic.
I heard a lot of fun.
Well, no, it's not. Well, from my point of view, it's not diplomatic. It's true. I heard them a bit. They sounded great, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that. They did sound very good.
I live in England. I hadn't heard much about them until I came over here. Anyway, they're not big in Europe, are they?
Not really, no. Well, there you go. All right. Well,
so there we are.
There we are.
See, we both live in England. You'll have to ask the people that live here.
Very normal, boring conversation. Again,
it's a typical interview. Adam, back to you.
Thank you very much, Kurt, and of course we'll be checking back in with you later along with Mick Jagger. And you still have time to order this pay-per-view cable event. All you have to do is call your local cable operator right now. Now, the 1989 Rolling Stones tour is the most lucrative ever. Experts in the business community are estimating the Stones will gross anywhere between $50 and $90 million. It almost sounds like they're printing junk bonds, but in fact, of course, the Rolling Stones have worked very long and hard to make this tour a success. Now, astute businessmen that they are, they left no stone unturned when it came to merchandising. With the #1 logo in rock, Rolling Stones merchandise is among the easiest to recognize in the world. The Steel Wheels Tour set records for marketing and selling that logo, moving about $20 million worth of stuff. In addition to the classic tongue design, the Stones created special Steel Wheels Tour merchandise. Most of it was designed by Mick Jagger and Charlie Watts. In keeping with the broad age and interest range of their fans, the Stones aimed items at every demographic group. They sold everything from T-shirts to skateboards to $450 leather jackets. And in a concert business first, the Stones made it possible for customers to pay by credit card. And with that kind of enticement, it takes an awful lot of willpower to leave the concert empty-handed. Thinking of buying any T-shirts, anything?
Absolutely. Hats or the whole bit.
Yeah, I have a lot from the first concert, but I want to buy more.
We don't want to buy them now going in because they may get soiled and we may lose them, so get them on the way out.
Did you bring a lot of money for that?
No, not a lot.
Did you know you could also buy stuff with the credit card these days now?
No, I didn't know. You can buy them at the concert with a credit card?
Yeah. Did you bring your credit card?
Yes, I did.
Well, then you can buy as much as you want.
I bought some to sleep in.
What? What'd you buy to sleep
I
in?
buy a long one to sleep in. I have to buy my boss's son's 2 shirts.
I got this in Philly. I'm the Mick Jagger mixed emotions look here with the pants.
You got mixed emotions.
Yeah.
What'd you pay for these?
Oh, $10. Yeah.
Did you bring money to buy anything here today?
I'll probably buy another 2 or 3 more shirts. Why not?
You?
Sure, I bought some money, but I lost it in casinos. Yeah, I'll probably buy a T-shirt, sure. Yeah.
Did you hear about the credit card? You can buy stuff with credit cards now?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I have one, so I guess maybe I'll do that expensive enough, so.
Have you hassled your dad yet for money for a T-shirt?
Of course.
Yeah?
I want everything.
Did he give in?
Of course.
Have you bought any merchandising? Anything that...
No, not yet. I'll wait till I get inside.
What? Did you get that here?
No, my brother got it from the last concert for me.
Are you planning on buying something?
Yeah, probably shirt or a hat or something. I don't know.
You know that you can buy stuff with a credit card here at
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, we just brought lots of cash.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a generous man. I bought 5 shirts.
Oh, yeah, what'd you pay for it?
$20 a piece.
Planning on buying any T-shirts or any tour
Oh, I bought
paraphernalia?
them all in Philadelphia. I have like 6.
Yeah. Did you know you could buy that with a credit card, right?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. No.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. How much money did you bring along for that?
I don't want to say. I might get stolen.
Well, I won't mug you. Don't worry about it.
About 200.
Really?
Yeah.
Not much. Welcome back inside the Atlantic City Convention Center. I'm Adam Curry, and a couple of my friends are joining me. We're all getting ready for this special pay-per-view cable event. It's called The Rolling Stones Terrifying, and you can watch this in the comfort of your own home. All you have to do is call your local cable operator. Right now, Kurt Loder from MTV News is hanging backstage with one of tonight's performers.
You made this record in 6 months. Which steps did you leave out to do it so quick? I mean, did you leave out the partying time or what?
Well, the first different step is to say you're going to have a deadline. It's really sometimes it's putting steps in, because the actual process, you have to go through that process anyway. You've got to write them, you've got to make the tracks, and there's a certain, once you start making a record, you've got to do it. But I think the important one is the deadline. Saying that's what we're going to do, and everybody in the record was going, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, that's a good one. Tell me another. Yeah.
Nobody believed it?
I don't know. Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, we've taken 2 years to make records for the last 15 or so years, so it's not surprising that there was some skepticism about it. So we came in sort of, I just come off the road. We got together, Mick and I got together in February, and I'd just gotten off the road at the end of December, and Mick had just finished a tour of Australia, and he'd done Japan. So, that also a tremendous difference in the way the Stones usually operate, which would be, you'd be 2 years out in pasture, and then say, okay, gather in a studio and make a record, and it's kind of rusty to start with, So that would be, I would say, the main difference, in which, really listening to it and making it, I really enjoyed going for it, that deadline, and also it started off dead easy. Mick and I got together in Barbados in February, and I think after the second day we had 3 or 4 songs already. So, and when you start off on a roll like that, it helps,
What were the first things you wrote? I mean, did they wind up on the record?
Yeah, one of the first ones was Break the Spell, and Rock and a Hard Place, Mixed Emotions wasn't far behind. They were all there very quickly, so that makes it a lot easier than sitting there scratching your head saying, let's have a fight to stop this boring.
Well, after that, just for the record, after all that, sort of dissing of Mick and all the feuding that was going on last year, what was it like when you finally did get back together in February? Did you have to hash all this out and apologize about it?
No, actually, no, because we'd been, obviously, to get it together, we'd been in touch a lot more over the previous few months. Yeah. And it was both, we both agreed that the best thing was just for the both of us just to get together by ourselves, like nobody else, and it's very strange in that way that it's easy between the two of us, and it's when other people are around, that there can be a problem. I can say things to Mick, and he can say, the hush would fall over the room if you weren't just alone. You just crack up, So, and also, as I say, because it started off so well, we just songs started coming out straight away.
If you've got work to do, Mick and I can work together like that, you know, and the rest of it can come naturally.
Did you, when you and Keith got back together and actually started writing songs in Barbados, does it just click in like that? I mean, there was, after not doing it for so long, it's just automatic?
Well, we hadn't actually done it for, I don't know, since the 60s, I think. Wrote songs
guess,
in this way, but it didn't seem that difficult, really. It seemed quite easy.
And just like,
to me, it did, anyway.
It's like riding a bicycle, you never forget how to do it.
Well, no, I mean, you never know. If you're in a small room with someone, you never know if you're going to get things or not, you know. But if each person has things that you know, I'm pretty confident in my abilities to write.
Yeah.
He's confident in his abilities, so, you know, it should be, you know, whoever you write with, it's easy because, you know, you write one part and then the other person, and you say, well, what about another part? And then they come up with the other part. I mean, it's just the mechanics of it, really.
You make it sound easy, but you know,
it is easy.
Well, not many people can do it, right?
I know, but it is easy. Maybe not enough people try, but anyone that's tried to write a song knows that it's quite easy just writing at the basic of it. It's quite nice writing with other people sometimes because you get you know, another head, and you get people to bounce ideas off too.
Yeah.
I like writing the lyric stuff on my own, I must say.
You don't do it while Keith's in the room or anything? You take it away?
No, I like to sit with it on my own. And I mean, Keith suggests ideas sometimes, verses or a title or something, but I like to be on my own, just to sort of think them through, and then when I actually get out and start singing them, that's when you realise, oh God, I made a mess. I've got to go back to the drawing board with this one. It's like, it's not right, you know. It's kind of sometimes hard to know if they really, really work until you start screaming them out, especially the hard rock ones, and you've got to have a facility to change them very quickly.
Yeah. Is mixed emotions about you guys, or is it about people in your age group, or is it about... Should we not put a message on it?
It's not. I don't think you should hang too heavy a message on it. You can hang any message you want.
It's very emotionally affecting, I think.
It's not. It's quite introspective, you know. The chorus. I mean, the verse is all kind of up, you know, rock and roll and very Rolling Stones-ish, and the verse has got a slightly more romantic feel to it.
Yeah. Did you have the feeling, too, I was asking Keith about this also, that when you listen to the tracks on the album, it almost sounds like something, each one could have come from another part of the Stones' career. I mean, some of it could have been on Exile, some of it could have been back in the 60s, some of it could have been...
could only have been on Steel Wheels. But...
needless to say.
You know, yeah, well, I don't think we sat down and thought about that either in the writing or in the recording, that, oh, this sounds like this period or that period. I mean, that's just, if you know, you're kind of sort of, you know the records, obviously.
Yeah.
And
it seems to sum up the group's strengths in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, what I like about it is that it's not a narrow record. It has a lot of things that yes, this reminds me of one from here, and this reminds me of one from here. What that really means is that there's a lot of different styles put together on one record, rather than being in a narrow style and just in one vein.
Are you going to be playing a lot, like playing harp or playing guitar a lot on stage, on tour with this thing?
Playing quite a lot of guitar.
Playing great harp on the record. I mean,
thank you. The harmonica on stage is a real tough instrument. It's an instrument you can play well in a club. You know, funny, the harmonica is very simple, but to make it sound like that kind of sound, you need certain kinds of equipment, a certain kind of microphone, a certain kind of distortion, and a certain kind of echo. And unfortunately, you can never get it loud enough to... You can hear it out there, but I can't hear it on stage, and so it's much simpler just to play it through the mic, and it never really sounds quite the same as the effects that you can get on the record, or if you're playing in a bar or something. I mean, it's really an instrument to play with a blues band, a very small band.
Yeah. Will you be doing any bar gigs along the way?
Well, if we do, then I'll get my harmonica out for practice. That'd be great.
How did the Toads Place thing come out? Was everybody... It's been a long time, right? Nobody
I felt like I was a cat enclosed in a cage. You know, I was trying all these moves, you know, to run out of stage like that much. I mean, it was a pretty good-sized stage for a club, actually. I mean, it was like... It was. But I had a good time, and you get all excited, and I start messed up some of the arrangements. You know. That's what those gigs are for, you know, to let you get off steam and stuff.
Nobody fell off stage or anything, right? Or everything went
I
pretty
nearly
well?
did. I nearly fell off stage. Into the arms of this big guy that was down the front. Hey, Mick! my date.
To get the key stuff out of the way, was all that overblown last year? I mean, there was...
I'm sort of a bit bored with talking about all that, really. So I said to Keith last night, I'm not talking about that anymore. Whatever anyone says to me, I'm not going to be nice about it, I'm not going to be nasty about it, I'm going to say, forget about it.
Did you just ignore it? I mean, when you got back together and just said...
I did.
You just pretended it didn't happen?
Yeah. It's the best way. It's a
What
very
a guy.
English way of doing it. Just pretend it's not there.
What a guy. So all differences are buried and settled and everyone's getting along well in the group and
Seems to be. Everyone seems to be getting on really well.
hanging out together.
Well,
Do
you're
you guys
hanging
hang
out
out
there
together
enough, like 20 hours a day. The other 4 hours of the day I'm on my own. That's enough already. I mean, this communal living, I don't really like communal living anyway. It's like Charlie and I going communal living, you know. It's like we're all the same people. Hi, it's not only the Stones, we're going to forget there's 200 other people. Hi, how are you? You know, how are you today? And everyone comes in with their questions, you know. It's like, just as you're getting out a mouthful of steak, it's like, and what do you think about my inflatable dolls? I'm going, God. This is like sleeping, living, you know, this is like for months now like this.
The Rolling Stones have 3 decades of fans, and they all seem to be out in force for tonight's pay-per-view cable event. In fact, the Stones tour has made a lot of people feel good about rock and roll again. And here's how they're reacting. Have you seen them before anywhere on the tour?
Yeah, at Shea.
Uh-huh.
And it was fabulous.
How many times have you seen the Rolling Stones?
Oh, about 10.
When was the first time you saw them?
1965, Philadelphia Convention Hall.
Really? And what do you think the difference will be between then and now?
Well, I saw them in Philadelphia just recently, and it's the best show I've ever seen. The best. They're phenomenal. They're just true masters.
How about you? Have you ever seen the Stones before?
We just drove up this morning from Virginia.
Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh, are you excited?
Yeah, we gotta go to work tomorrow though.
Have you seen the Stones before?
No, never has.
What do you think it's going to be like?
Incredible. I won tickets. I can't wait.
Now, is this your first Rolling Stones concert?
Yeah.
Yeah, you excited about it?
Yeah.
Well, you've seen the Stones before, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Couple
of times.
When was the first time you saw it?
81.
Uh-huh.
And I was at JFK in 81, and the vet, you know, this past fall.
Is it your first Rolling Stones show?
No, I came the second night they opened up in Philadelphia also.
This is your first Stones show?
First time I've come to see the Rolling Stones, yeah.
How about you guys?
First.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, this is a great show. They are. Keith Richards is so right on. It's a fabulous show. It's so professional, and it's a terrific show. 81. I don't know. I mean, this is 50 times better than 81.
Yeah.
Marianne saw him in 75.
Really?
Boston Gardens, yeah.
You didn't meet at a Stones show by any chance, did you?
Oh, no, we didn't. There's one thing I like to say is I love Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
I've never seen them live, but I have all their albums, and, I mean, since the 60s when they first started out.
Really?
In competition with the Beatles.
You're from Atlantic City?
Yes, I grew up here.
So you've seen the Stones before?
20 sometimes when they used to play here on a steel pier, it was called, and they'd come for 3 days at a time and do maybe 4 shows a day. So I'd go every day, and you know.
First time you seen the Stones?
Yeah, he saw them before.
When did you see them?
I saw him in Philly for the first show.
For the opening show?
Opening show, yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh, it was the best. It was.
Why do you saw that show? Why are you coming to this one?
They're the greatest rock and roll band in the world. I mean, who can beat them?
First time seeing the Stones?
I think the first time live, yeah.
Live, yeah.
Long-time fans.
Yeah. How long?
Since the early 60s.
That's right.
Early
From the beginning.
60s.
No, I saw them at Shea. They were fantastic, so I had to come again.
You ever seen them before?
No.
Shea the first time.
I'm glad they came around again, you know, because I was worried I wouldn't be able to see them.
Have you ever seen the Rolling Stones before?
Yeah, not in the concert, on TV.
As you can see, all the fans are hyped tonight. I'm Adam Curry inside the Atlantic City Convention Center. We're getting ready for the Rolling Stones Terrifying. We're just a few minutes away from showtime, and you still have time to call in, call your local cable operator, and order this pay-per-view event. Right now, we have a look for you at some of the guest stars who'll be joining the Stones tonight on stage. The biggest group of the past 2 years, with a pair of multi-platinum albums, Guns N' Roses are the bad boy descendants of the Rolling Stones. Their balls-out hard rock sound, outrageous stage antics, and controversial public statements have already made them rock and roll legends. Eric Clapton is the prime minister of British blues guitars. Clapton and the Stones have known each other since they crossed paths on London's early 60s club scene. Hot off the heels of his brand new album Journeyman, Clapton recently joined the Stones on stage at New York's Shea Stadium.
What's John Lee Hooker going to be doing on this?
He's doing a song which was a big hit for him in the, I think, the end of the 50s, and it's called beginning of the 50s. Thank you. Yo MTV's Kurt Loder. Boogie Chillin' is called. It's great, isn't it? That's the one he's going to do.
With the special guests, we're adding some songs like Salt of the Earth and Boogie Chillin', John Lee Hooker and Eric Clapton.
Wow.
He's going to do Rooster with us, I think.
Who's going to play on Salt of the Earth?
Axel
and Izzy?
Yeah.
Have you rehearsed this with them yet? Or?
No, that's why we came earlier the other day to do it.
Yeah. Is there going to be a live album from this tour?
We'll see.
Surely there's a demand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we've got all kinds of things. We've got the television show, we have live recordings. We record a lot of shows live. I don't know. It depends, you know.
The show tonight going to be something really special? Are you putting new stuff in here, the new songs that we haven't heard before, or what's going to be going on?
Well, I don't know what you last heard, do I?
Well, we know that.
Because we've been adding different songs here and there throughout the...
Yes.
So how do I know which one
Pull
you
that
saw?
string. I say yes on that one.
Charlie, why don't we hear more from you? You're famous for not giving interviews, but...
Yes.
Why is that?
Yes. Well, there's nothing to say, really, is there?
Are you having a good time on this tour?
Yeah, that's right.
Are you going to be taking this around the world now? Is that all pretty clear, or that's still up in the air?
How about round the world? I think we're talking about Japan and maybe Europe in the summer.
What have been the highlights of this tour so far? Any unusual nights, or...?
It will be getting on that Concorde. That's my highlight. No, it's all been good, hasn't it? You know, we haven't had any bad shows. We haven't had any horrible... There's a few of the venues, like these indoor places, are a bit difficult sound-wise. Get a lot of bounce back and, you know, bang, 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 bang. And it's difficult to play, but the crowds have been fantastic and it's gone really well, hasn't it? Yeah.
Especially as old as acoustic. All right.
These domes. Always up.
This one we've done, isn't it?
Yeah, this is more like Nassau, isn't it? And other tours. Pretty noisy bounce back of sound.
How do you feel now about the tour the way you thought you would at the beginning? I mean, did you know it would be this much fun? Is it still as much fun as it was when you started out?
Not really.
No.
No, well, the first month, you know, it's all you think, God, that worked, that's great. Then you got to do it all again, and again, and again, and again, again, and again, and again. So, you know, it's that bit that really, it gets on my nerves, really. But the others love it.
Keith, we were just talking to Charlie Watts. Never had the pleasure before. Quite a character.
Yeah, he doesn't grant many interviews, but as far as being a character, yeah, a very large one.
So you have Eric coming in tonight. Is he going to play on Little Red Rooster and other stuff, or is it going to be a total surprise what he's doing?
It'll be blues. I mean, so it'll probably be Rooster, you know, but I mean, we've done it a couple of times on the tour, and it's been pretty good. So look at the third one will be a killer.
Are you going to, I was asking the other guys about this too, does television interfere with your style at all? I mean, you're going to step forward and take a solo and you're tripping over camera wires?
That might be the only way that it might interfere, because otherwise you don't think about it. You just go and do a show, you know, and you're really oblivious to the cameras. And if the camera cats are hip and cool and are pretty fast on their feet, you don't really notice, you know. I mean, you might mug it a little bit when it's obvious that they're close, or you might help give them an angle here and there in the back of your mind, but otherwise you basically don't think you're doing a TV show. You're out there live doing a show. You know, you're worried about the paying customers.
Are you glad that this is like the last date? Are you ready to go up to the islands or something? Or
well, I wouldn't mind. You know, Keith and I, we were just saying that we only had a week off since January, so we could use a couple of weeks, and then I'd be all right.
Let's hope you get them.
Yeah. I hope everyone gets a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that sort of thing to everyone. And you know, we've enjoyed this tour, and all the people that have seen the show enjoyed it. Thanks very much for coming.
Back to you, Adam.
Well, it's just a couple of minutes before showtime, and I really...